Okay, good. So now we have our nice absolute statements written on the doc. Before you go and you problematize and you try to problematize those statements, let's also refresh our mind about the strategies, because we said that the basic principle about find the limits, but then how can we find those limits? What are tips and tricks to problematize sentences? Someone? Davide, yes?
Well, I think the easiest one is to find a strong counterexample.
Okay, so with examples, we can use examples, something striking, well-known, powerful, widespread. Yeah, so the strong example should be something very vivid in our minds, something that is well-known, and something that makes the case by itself.
Not an exception.
Hmm?
Not an exception.
Okay, so why not an exception? What's the matter with the exception?
Because, well, an exception would just argue for the thesis not to be absolutely true. But what we want to problematize, I think it's not that, but it's like to show how it can be weak. So an exception doesn't necessarily make it weak.
Okay.
For example, there was an example. Can I make an example?
Okay, but before the example, I will let you go for the example, but let's try with in abstract terms before you go to the example to explain why the exception it would be weak. Someone else, someone who wants to help David, they can raise the hand as well.
Shall I answer or shall I? Sorry.
Okay, if you have a yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, I have an answer. Yeah, I think the reason is why the exception just make it not necessary, but it doesn't make it less probable.
Yeah. Okay. And so what if it's not necessary but less probable?
I mean, I think a problematization should show how is less probable than you thought. If I problematize your thesis, I show that your thesis is less probable than you think it is.
Yeah, well, but the statement here, we take it as a true, as a necessary statement. So when we problematize, the statement that we problematize is presented as absolute, right?
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't thinking actually about the exercise. I was thinking about in general, problematization in general.
Yeah, well, okay, but when we want to problematize, yes, we want to shake or put a doubt in the head of the other person that what he thinks is not absolute. It has conditions.
Yeah. No, in this case, an exception would be enough in this exercise.
Okay. Well, let's see someone else. Marian, you wanted to elaborate on this idea of exception.
Yes, the exception rather confirms the rule. So it can be easily rejected by your interlocutor. But he said, yes, okay, it's an exception, but my statement stands still as the rule.
Okay, yeah. It's an exception, it's by chance. It's not, we're not providing another set of conditions in which might fall several examples or several particular cases.
Yes.
Okay, so the exception would confirm the rule because it's not proposing a different perspective. It's not proposing a different scenario. Okay, yeah. Someone else? With tips and tricks? Or, yeah, Sven?
You could think about the paradigm that the person is and try to come to the issue from a totally different paradigm.
Okay.
It's sort of step one. It will help you to come up with a problematizing comment or question if you think of the issue from a different paradigm.
Okay, so you propose to take the opposite of the statement and to think how it makes sense.
Yeah, not the opposite, but the statement is usually made from a certain paradigm, and you could try to see the statement from a totally different paradigm. So if the statement is in a idealistic paradigm, then you could try and view it from a practical paradigm. And then it often helps you to come up with comments or questions that can problematize.
Okay. So if you switch the paradigm, then you see the limits or what is said, it's not relevant anymore, probably, or possibly. Yeah. Okay, so to think about to recognize the paradigm of the statements and try to take a different one in order to see how the friction or the hit would look like. Okay. Good. Someone else? Or yeah, Francis?
Bring a new concept that would be that can show another point of view, or could replace the other one. If I say, for instance, family is the most important thing in life, or is the most important thing, I could say, can life be considered as the most important thing?
Okay.
So I replace one concept by another.
Yeah. Okay, but then it's more than that, or in different ways. It's not just replacing a concept with another.
I use
it should be connected. It should be or as powerful as the one that is proposed. Because family with I don't know survivance or good, or in this case you are proposing to a struggle between values. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Anka.
Yes, I wanted to propose the opposite.
Okay, so you propose, you try to introduce the opposite idea and to show how the opposite idea makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Maria, you wanted to say something? No? Okay. Peter.
I wanted to ask if to suggest completely absurd statements or questions are also problematization. If a client says, "Oh, I can't do nothing, I can't do anything," and I say, "Can you raise your hand?" Is this also a kind of a problematization?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What do you think? The rest of you, the group, is that a problematization? I mean, who wants to say something? It's not voting yes or no, but Martin, yeah.
Well, I think it is possible. However, the philosopher needs to have a certain level of trust. Otherwise, the subject would simply see this as an unrealistic thing to be shared. So I think it would worsen the situation.
What is the situation? What do you mean?
Like in the consultation, if you propose something totally absurd,
Yeah,
the client would just reject it because it's totally unrealistic.
yeah, yes. So that is a problem with absurdities, that they would be rejected because, well, you're making fun of me, or it's easy to say no to that absurdity. To answer no. Yeah, that is in general. Okay, but then there is something specific here in Peter's example. Because someone else wants to, because yeah, it's valid what Martin says in the consultation. We should pay attention how we problematize and the scope, the idea of absurd statements, because they have a role, they can be used, including to problematize. But then we have to pay attention or to see when it's the case. So yeah, there were more hands up. Let's see, Alex. Yes.
Well, I think that the example that Peter gave is not a problematization unless the client would literally mean he cannot do anything. Then it would be a problematization. Otherwise, it's only a way to show that it's a nonsensical sentence.
It's only a way
to show to the client that what he is saying is a nonsensical sentence or an exaggeration.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is one of that's why we say absurd things sometimes. In order to answer an absurdity with another absurdity. So in that case, in that way, yeah, we receive nonsense and we answer nonsense. That might cling. There should be a click in the mind of our interlocutor, which is basically the case that Peter was proposing. Because I can't do anything. Remember that we take it as an absolute statement, not some hidden meaning, because we can recognize the hidden meaning there. But I am frustrated, I'm feeling impotent for something, because I didn't get what I wanted. Then I can't do anything, it's very dramatic and absurd. At least you can write or speak. So that would be already problematizing. And then we would go in the consultation towards, well, are you exaggerating things? Do you do it open? Or how come that you cannot go outside for COVID is translated in I cannot do anything? No, there is still a wide range of things that you can do. So that is a little bit the idea. Okay, someone else wants to elaborate on this provocation or point? Yes, Maria?
I wanted to add that there is some kind of performative problematization that person show by his actions that he can do it. And sometimes it's, for some people, it's work good when they have example in the action.
Okay, yeah, you can problematize by showing, by highlighting performance and action that the author is doing, which is contradicting with his thinking, his speech, for instance. Well, we use it quite often in the consultation. It's we call it performative confirmation or contradiction. So performative contradiction is already problematization of what is said. Basically, it's a self-problematization. It's auto-sabotage, we can also say.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, good. Someone else? Otherwise, I will ask you to work and to produce problematizations. Yeah, Martin?
I have another way of problematizing. I think we can use speculative questions for that. Suppose your statement would not be true. How would that change your thinking?
Yeah. Okay. This one can be used in a consultation, but it's if we are doing a written exercise, this is not straightforward. You are asking the other person to do the exercise, to do the work, and that's fine. In a consultation, in a workshop, you have the right to ask the interlocutor to do the job, to work, and to think about it. Well, now you said this, okay, I agree, but let's play the game that we don't agree. How would you say to object to yourself? Fine. And that's a good strategy. But for the very exercise of problematization, we want to contain, to deliver the opposite idea. So if we find something, if you do it this evening, now with the exercise, that would be a weak problematization at best. Yeah? Okay? Someone else? No, I don't see other hands. Okay, so then now you have the statements. You go to the document, you read, and if you are inspired or particularly if you dislike very much a statement, problematize it and try to do it with a question. So it should be a strong problematization. We go for the difficult exercise. You don't propose an opposite idea or you don't say the limit of the statement, but you go with the question. That should do both. Propose the limit of the question and make the author doubt about it. Well, but if you cannot, you write the limit. But let's go for the difficult side. And you put your name, You write your name. Okay, couple of minutes more, but then we go. I see that you are inspired. Okay, finish your question, your sentence. Don't write anything else. But now it's time to seek for problems, and we want to find out problems in problematizations. So you go, you check the questions in order to evaluate, to understand if they problematize or maybe not. Let's check who has found the problem in the questions. Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, good. I think that we have enough material now. Let's see. Then if we need more time to scan again the questions, we'll do it. But let's stop here now. So who wants to throw the first stone? Raise your hand. Okay, Maria, go ahead.
The statement of Christian, this statement will be problematized, and the question of Davide, what if nobody choose it? It's not problematization question.
Okay, no, wait a moment. The statement is Peter's statement, right?
Yes, Christian statement.
Christian statement. Okay. This statement will be problematized. Okay. What if nobody chooses it? Okay, so what's the problem, Maria?
Problem is that it's not a problematization question. It's in this question, Davide asks about something else, not try to find limits of the statement.
Okay, but what is the something else? Let's see.
It's what does Christian think about if nobody will choose it.
Okay, but let's see. Maria, what would happen if nobody chooses it?
It's mean that nobody don't have ideas how to problematize this statement if nobody chooses it.
Okay, so it looks like that if nobody chooses it, it will not be, there will not be ideas to problematize the statement.
It's possible, but not probable.
Okay, let's see it again. So you said that, well, you answered the question, right? And you said there will be no ideas to problematize the statement. Is that what you said, Maria?
Yes.
So what is probable or possible?
Okay. Okay, and
No, oh, wait, not okay.
I see.
You said
Yes,
it's possible but not probable. What is possible but not probable?
No, I changed my mind. It's
Okay.
work. It's work. If nobody.
Okay, so you abandon your criticism.
Yes, I abandoned. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. What happens? Tell us what happened. Why you are abandoning now?
I had two ideas why people will not choose this statement. The first one that it's really hard to do it, and the second one that maybe it is boring to try to problematize. But the more probable is that it's if nobody choose it, it will be hard to do it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So you withdraw your accusation, your criticism.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see someone who wants to maintain it or who wants to. So Sven, you have a criticism for this question or for another one? No, for this one.
For this one.
Okay. Go ahead.
I think it's a performative contradiction, because the moment you ask it, you contradict the idea. The idea is that nobody chooses it. So actually the best way to problematize it would have been to write nothing.
Okay, yeah, so if there is nothing, that the statement is not problematized. Therefore, it's problematized because it's false. It would be false. Okay, but we have written something, right?
Yes.
And so what happens now?
And so now you have problematized it, and no, it's right. Sorry, it's still fine. Because he's still creating a hypothetical situation in which it will be limited, so it's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so so you also withdraw your accusation, your critic to the statement.
Yes.
Okay, but actually you did something. You proposed an alternative, a different way to problematize it. Okay, so that would be to write nothing.
Write nothing. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but this one, so you give up.
No, it still works. Yeah.
Okay. Martin?
I think this is a genius problematization from my perspective. And when I read it, I did not write anything anymore. So I basically did two things. I did what I agreed with Davide and I agreed with Sven. Nothing to be written there. So I think it's really genius here, because it is like, it's mind-boggling. Whatever way you take, you end up having a problem.
Yes, yeah. So if you don't write anything, would be problematization because it's performative, but writing what is written still is problematizing the question. Okay, and you are particularly happy and joyful about David's idea. Okay, good. So we saved it. Or anyone else who wants to shoot on David's? Okay, good. So we keep it. So let's write something here. So far is saved. If you want to go back to it, then you can do. So this one done. We highlight in, let me see, in green. No, non mi piace questo. This is ugly. No, I'm not inspired by the colors. Okay, well, better than nothing, this one. So someone else who wants to problematize something else. Then Maria, pick one person.
Francis?
Francis.
Okay, I want to problematize the statement, Peter's statement. Every statement can be problematized.
Okay, so let's go for a reflexive statement.
A reflexive statement. So if every statement can be problematized, this.
Wait a moment. Wait, Francis. Now, we don't want to problematize the statement. We want to find problems in the problematization. So now you said the statement. Which problematization you think doesn't work?
I think if every statement can be problematized as it is written, this statement can be problematized.
Okay, good. Then there are 1, 2, 3, 4 problematization, right? 4 people who wrote the problematization. So is there anyone, any of these, 5 people that you think they wrote a problematization that doesn't work?
Can you say it again? The question, please?
Okay, now let's take from a different angle. Do you know what you are supposed to do?
Me?
Yes, Francis.
I'm supposed to problematize the statement.
Okay. Who thinks that Francis doesn't know what he has to do? Raise your hand. Okay, Francis. How do you explain it?
I don't explain it.
You are shocked.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why. So ask someone what you are supposed to do. You can pick anyone.
Anyone, Alex.
We are supposed to criticize the problematizations by the others.
Yes. Okay. I got wrong. Yeah.
Okay. So now you understand why I want you to pick a question. And not to problematize the statement. You don't have to choose a statement and problematize it. You have to pick a problematization that doesn't work. Okay, now you know what you have to do. We go somewhere else, we go to someone who has already a criticism in mind, okay? Then we go back to you, Francis, if you find something.
Well, I can find something.
Okay, on the spot. Go.
On the spot, yeah. The problematization by Christian.
Okay, so we stay with the same statement and we take Christian. Okay, let's read.
Would fundamental Christians agree with you that Bible statements can be problematized?
Okay, so what's the problem with this statement, with this question?
It shows that some people would not problematize some things, but it doesn't question the possibility to problematize the statement.
Okay, yeah. Let's see, Christian. We have only one Christian now this evening. Yes, Christian. Okay, so you understand Francis?
Yes.
Okay, you think that he has a point, he's right or no?
He's right. This problematization shows a subset of people and a subset of statements where this doesn't work.
Okay, yeah, so you agree with Francis that you are not problematizing the statement?
No. I agree with this criticism, but I don't agree that this is a problem. I agree with the fact, but not with the conclusion that this is not a problem.
Okay, so you agree that only a certain group of people would not agree.
Yes.
So let's make a check. So what do you think the Peter, the author, would answer to your question?
He may answer, for instance, that okay, fundamental Christians would not may. So he would say that yes. Would fundamental agree with you that no? He will answer no.
Okay, he will answer no.
Yes.
Okay, it's very probable.
Yes.
Okay, let's say also why.
He will answer no because this is kind of obvious. Because fundamental Christians are believers.
Yeah.
And of course, they will not doubt their fundamental belief.
Okay, so for them, for this group of people, for fundamentalists, there is a set of statements, which is the core of the Bible, Koranus, or whatever religion, of their beliefs, that will not be problematized. So for them, it's this statement they will never subscribe to this statement. You will never hear this statement in their mouth.
Yes.
Okay. So, is it a problem for Peter?
Yes.
Why?
Because this type of these statements, the Bible, is one of the the most printed book. So it's not just an example; it's a very major example. And this
major example. Okay.
It's yes. So it's not a single. It's not a simple example. It's a major example. So
so what if it is a major example?
That means that it brings a whole. So it's not a just nitpicking, but it's means that it brings a major whole to the statement.
Okay, that a book is the most printed one, so you think that this makes true what is written there?
Not that it makes true, that this makes a relevant example.
Yeah, it's a relevant example. Yeah, I understand. But is it relevant for Peter or for someone else? Let's see. Let me put it in a different way. Do you think that Peter agrees with these people, with Christians, or no?
Most probably not.
Okay, so You're telling him that there are people that do not agree with him.
Yes.
And he says, okay, there are a lot of people who do not agree with me.
Yes.
But would this be sufficient to make him doubt about his idea?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Peter, open your microphone, please.
Yes.
There are a lot of people who believes that certain statements cannot be problematized. So, does it make you think that maybe you're wrong?
Yeah, there are two directions we can go.
No, wait. Now that you know and that you realize that there are a lot of people that do not agree with you, that thinks the opposite, that certain statements cannot be problematized. Does it make you doubt this huge amount of people?
No.
No. Okay. Why?
Because we have different thinking systems.
Different thinking systems.
They are in the belief system, and I'm in the critical thinking system. We cannot merge our different positions.
Okay. So yeah, so you see here that the Christian is proposing me a different paradigm, a different dogma, but it's just the opposite as mine. So there is no information or no reasoning that makes me doubt of it. He's just putting on the plate the opposite paradigm.
Yeah, but problematization as itself is a tool or a concept within critical thinking and not within a belief system.
Okay, let's see. Let's go to Francis, because it was Francis actually raising the accusation. So we wanted to check with you, but it's Francis that raised the concern. So Francis, what do you think now?
I go with Peter. Problematizing is seldom competency, and we are working hard on it. So it doesn't mean anyone can problematize, but they can be problematized, yes. The author is not named in the statement. So indeed...
Wait a moment, I don't understand. Yeah, so can you... I understand that you agree with Peter, so you think that what Christian proposes, his answer or his objection, objection to you is not valid, doesn't work. Now, say why it doesn't work, why you reject it.
Why I reject Christian's objection.
Yeah.
And Christian's objection would be good if the statement was every statement can be problematized by anyone. But now it's general, so it means every statement can be problematized by someone. So the fact that a fundamentalist will not problematize the Bible is not a problem. And indeed, a lot of people problematize the Bible.
Okay, yeah, but that we understand. So, but this idea that he stresses the idea that there is a there is a group of people who has the opposite belief. Does it help? Does it work? Does it put a nail or something for a point for problematizing it, or no?
Can you repeat the question? I got lost.
So let's see. Let's go to the group. Who can rephrase in a short way the objection provided by Christian to Francis' criticism? Raise your hand.
I didn't understand your question, Luca. Sorry.
Well, who remembers Christian's objection to Francis' criticism? Okay, so Martin.
Christian says that there is a group of people who say that some statements cannot be problematized. And like that, the original statement cannot be fully true.
Okay, yeah. So, Francis, this was the objection. Now, you take it.
No, I don't take it.
Okay, why?
Because the statement does not say anything about the author. So anyone can problematize. It means it can be problematized by someone, not necessarily everyone.
Okay, so the fact that there is a group of people that doesn't believe it, the statement, Peter's statement, does not speak or talk about those people, which is which is a minority or a group. But okay.
And as Peter said, there are a lot of people in the world who do not problematize. They never problematize. They are in a belief system. But that doesn't speak about the possibility of problematizing.
Okay, yeah. So, Christian, we go back to you. So, yeah, it's true. We don't say that there are no those people, but there are those people, but that's not sufficient. It doesn't make us doubt about our statement. Christian, are you with us?
Yes, I heard it. I understood the statement, your statement.
Yeah.
That people of Francis, at least, or maybe modern Francis, believe that the fact that there is a large group of people that believe that a culturally significant statement cannot be problematized is not a sufficient problematization for him to doubt the main statement.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so you understand, yes. Okay. Then let's see. Is it true or not? Do you understand the reasoning, the logic behind? You take it, you don't?
I understand the logic behind it.
Yeah.
And I do remember also Davide's comment that exceptions are not good problematizations. But I don't agree with that comment, Davide's comment. Exceptions can be problematic.
Let aside the Davide's comment at the beginning. So let's stay with this case that we have now. We are not talking about exceptions now.
Okay.
Where do you see an exception?
Yes, this is an exception, a significant exception. So there is a group of people with a significant number of statements, culturally significant, etc., which do not fit that rule. So this you can argue that this is an exception.
Okay, and then what is the point here?
The point is that
the relevant the group of Christians, yes, it's relevant, but there are people who does not believe it. Is it a problem for Peter? That's the point. Not if it is an exception or not. No, there are quite enough people. It's not just by chance. No, Christians are many, and fundamental Christians are less than Christians in general, but still a group. It's not one exception in the world.
Yes. Okay, so the question is Peter convinced by this? Obviously not.
Yeah, okay, but Peter, but in general, the author of such a statement.
I believe that the author of such a statement, in principle, would be start thinking about the statement, because the statement changes the paradigm. By bringing an exception, it also brings another paradigm. In this case, a religious or believer's paradigm.
Well, okay, but
Thus, it would be a problematizing statement. Meaning, if the author will be open-minded.
Christian, oh, wait a moment. Now you are going crazy. You're going. Wait a moment. If there is something, just for the fact that there is a group of people that thinks different from you, is that sufficient to make you think that you're wrong, or no? There is should be something more than that.
I think it's sufficient.
Okay, so, but okay, so you think it's sufficient. So if there is a group of people that thinks different, the opposite as you, then it's sufficient to make you think and to doubt about yourself. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So let's try to make a check with the group who thinks that this question, Christian's question, problematizes Peter's statement. Raise your hand. Okay. Who thinks that the question doesn't problematize Peter's statement? Raise your hand. Okay. Oh. Now, Peter, Christian, is that enough to make your doubt about your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Because there is a significant group of people
yeah,
who
at least
do
you
not
are
believe
coherent.
it.
At least you are coherent. Okay. At least you are coherent. You don't. Well, and this should be the case even if there were only two people or one person raising the hand that is not problematizing.
Exactly. Even if there would have been only two people raising the hand that this may not be a problematizing question, I would have doubted it's a good problematizing question.
Yeah. So using the same criteria, the same principle. Okay. So let's see. Let's go with this way, because there is also another peculiarity here. Who has, well, since there are a lot of people raising the hand, who has a different way or to propose the criticism to this question? Gui.
Oh, I have an idea about if a dictator in a country says that you know you cannot disagree with me or anything like that. It's a person that, you know, it doesn't shake my belief that I should be able to problematize what the dictator has put forth. You know, every statement of the dictator, I should be able to problematize, because I have a mind and I can think, even though he will not say it's possible.
Okay, so you now are you doing what? Now draw the link with Christian question.
Yeah, so even though there is a group of people, or you know, or a dictator or a god that is behind the Bible, let's say, that supposedly has the truth, it doesn't mean it's right.
Okay, so yeah, so you are presenting this idea that a minority of people or a group of people or even one person, you normally doubt. You don't take it for granted that they are true, they are reasonable.
Yeah.
And this is an example. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, right. Okay, so let's try with Christian. Christian, you heard GUI that it's not sufficient that there is a minority thinking the opposite, because you have to qualify, you have to evaluate if it is reasonable.
Yes.
Okay, so that would the idea is that it's not sufficient. If you agree with it, then you would drop the question, your question, and you would see the limit of this question. But a minority that doesn't agree with me, well, it's not enough to make me doubt.
I mean, are you asking me if I agree, or if what GUI said problematizes my problematization?
Yeah, which is basically the same.
So I'm a believer, so of course it doesn't I don't believe it. I don't agree with it, but it problematizes my problematization.
Okay, so if it problematizes your problematization, it means that you take it and your question does not problematize. So now we give up with games. We stop playing games. So let's see if there is someone else who wants to save it, because I see that Martin wants to save the problematization. So Martin, yes.
So I think like every exception or every example needs to appeal to common sense, and it really depends whether common sense is being met by that. So if you ask that question in the Midwest of the US, people would say it's a valid problematization. But here in Europe, you rarely find fundamental Christians. They are rare, you know? So I think it's like, it's really dependent on where you're asking this question.
No, yeah, okay. But then we're not going there. It's not what is common sense for us, what is common sense for the Redskins, or what is common sense for Chinese. No, whether is we try to look at one big reason and what we can think about it. So it's we are here, of course, we are in Europe, we are here, but we try to make the effort to think in general terms. That is what common sense is. So let's stay here with this idea. So because otherwise we go to Massachusetts and this question works, and we go to China and the question doesn't work.
Yeah, but that's the case. Some questions do not work in some contexts because
they are without context. So the questions here should work in general. If we problematize in each context. But if a person is stubborn, or if culturally he cannot take it, well, okay, there are limits. We know we struggle every day with those limits. And then we use also cultural features to make people think and react. But okay, let's we have a purist approach in this exercise. So we take it in general terms and we don't put a context. Well, so if you defend it, it means that you can defend that this question problematizes in general, not in Europe, in North America, in China, in the States.
I think that this example needs some knowledge about fundamental Christians, and most people don't have that. We know more about fundamental Muslims than about fundamental Christians. So I'm saying that it will not work for most people in our environment. So like that, I would say, no, it's not a good problematization because it's a very peculiar group. It's a very special group that most people don't know anything about it. So, and like that, it's like, I just wanted to share that. I think not every example works in every situation, and this one might work in only some specific ones.
Okay, so but then you agree that this question does not problematize in general. If it works only in specific context, those contexts are more or less than other contexts. Martin.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking. I think that Christian fundamentalism is on the rise in Africa, in Asia, and in the US, in the Americas. It's on the rise, and we have a big issue there. And in there, we need to learn to problematize in their context. Otherwise, we cannot instill any critical thinking there. So from my perspective, it would be way too short-sighted to say it's irrelevant, it can't be done. I think we need to find ways of problematizing within such a context. For me, that's totally important. I understand what you're saying, but I just don't buy into that.
But you just don't?
I don't buy that. I don't buy it that it's that, you know, I don't buy it that cultural sensitive thinking is irrelevant.
Okay, I'm not saying that it's irrelevant in the absolute. I'm saying that what we want to find here is a problematization which works in general, not only in some context.
Okay.
So,
if you want that, I would say then it does not work. It does not work in general because it is a specific example with a specific where specific knowledge is required and specific experience is required.
Okay, so but then okay, fine, but in some cases it might work.
Yes.
It might be efficient because you know something about Peter, because you know that Peter is in this region, in this where the fundamentalism is raising. So okay, then a fundamentalist which claims, which states such a statement would be a little bit, well, are you a fundamentalist for real or no?
I have had a client once who was like coming from such an environment and he was about to get out of there. And for him, this example would have worked perfectly well as a problematization. And it would have helped him to get his critical thinking going. But it's very specific in a consultation context.
Yeah, you should know, you should get, or you should guess that this person is coming from a fundamentalist environment. Okay.
Yeah.
So it might work. Well, okay, there are other questions that we may find out that they do not problematize, but in specific context, in a specific moment, given other information, they do problematize. And maybe it's the best question to problematize someone. Okay, but then we have additional informations. Then we have a context, we know the person, we know something else. Here we just have the statement, and we need to work with what we have. We don't have a specific case.
Luca, is this not the case with every example that we bring? That it is always like specific? For example, there was this other statement by Marianne. What can a statement about physical laws also be problematized? Well, yes, if you are in space.
Yeah, okay. Wait a moment. Yeah. So if we find a way to problematize a statement, you find a way to problematize it. So it means that you can problematize it with everyone. So it's reason-wise, you find conditions, limitations to that statement, to the proposition. Now, let's stay with our example, that every statement can be problematized. By proposing the fundamentalist Christians that believe something that don't agree with the statement, you are not proposing the limits. You are not showing the conditions for which this statement would be false. You just say that there is someone who doesn't believe it. Okay, but there is always someone who does not believe something. So it should be a little bit more. So then we go to another example and we check it. But then, Martin, so just to conclude a little bit, because we started by the idea that we wanted to defend this question. And we wanted to say that, yes, this question problematizes, but in general, not in a specific context. In a specific context, yeah, okay, you provided it, and maybe in that case it works, but in general, you agree that it doesn't work. Okay. Good so far, Martin?
Yeah.
Alex, you wanted to defend. I saw that you have your hands up. No? Okay. Francis, yes, okay, let's see. This case triggers a lot of interesting thoughts. Go ahead, Francis, yes.
Another angle.
Yeah, wait, another angle for what?
For to tackle the Christians' objection.
Okay,
the statement,
Christians gave up. Martin was not actually defending Christians' idea, so that's fine. So he also, Martin, doesn't want to defend the question in general as a problematization question. He says that in certain context, it might work as a problematization. So now, Francis, you change your mind, and now you think that the question problematizes the statement, or no, you maintain that the question does not problematize?
I maintain that.
Okay, now let's stop for a moment. I'm looking for people who want to defend the question and claims that the question problematizes.
Okay.
Anka.
Can we say that this is a problematization question, but it's weak because it works only in context? So in the absolute, it's not, but in context, it's weak. It's like with arguments. It's an argument, but it's weak, so doesn't really count.
Okay, it weak. Yeah, but then you go with, okay, if I'm lucky, it works. I think in order to be weak, it should be something more. So something more than, okay, in specific context, yes, it works, maybe not. So what we said before, that anything can work in some context. Also, well, can you provide an argument for the opposite? This is also a problematization question. But then it's not straightforward. It's not hitting the target right away. And this one, in order to hit the target right away, well, it's not right away because you need a specific context.
Yeah, so, I get it. So it's like, yeah, it's a context creating question, leading question.
Okay, when there is now that I'm thinking about it, I see another problem for this very question, but it's not a majority of people, of believers, but fundamentalists are a rather small minority of believers. And well, no, Martin, no. You are believers, and all believers are fundamentalists.
Yeah, you know, fundamental Christians are the largest growing group in the world.
I'm not talking about growing group. I'm talking about in general, in absolute terms. There are more huge Christians or more fundamental Christians?
Well, there are more Christians, but the fundamentals are a majority already.
Okay, tell me a percentage.
Well, I don't know the percentage to be true, but I know that they are really huge numbers. I can look it up if you want, but it's huge numbers. So we cannot say that they are a minority. For sure. In Europe, yes. In Europe, definitely.
No, in general, in the world. I'm not saying in Europe, in the world.
No.
If
They are
there
not.
is, let's say, 1 million, let's take it easier, 100 Christians, how many of them are fundamentalists now?
My guess would be about 60.
Okay, so means that 1 out of 2 believers are fundamentalists.
Yeah.
Okay, so that seems a big number. Yeah, okay. Now, Davide, lower your hand, please. Now, in general, then we have another, this one, I think it's a little bit too much, but still, okay. I don't know, maybe you have a better feeling about it. Now, do we tend to think that fundamentalism in general is a good thing? What they think are, well, okay, yes, if they think something, maybe I should think like them. Or maybe no, we tend to think that fundamentalism is a bad thing.
Who are you asking?
I'm asking to the group in general. So raise your hand if you tend to think that fundamentalism, okay, is a nice way, is a good way to think. Raise your hand. Or if you think that it's not, you raise your hand later. So if you think that fundamentalism is a good way to think, raise your hand. Okay. If you think that fundamentalism is not the right way to think, raise your hand. Okay, yeah.
No, that's like asking vegans whether it's good to eat meat. So from my perspective, that's a no-brainer question.
No, it's about think about fundamentalism. It's about the word that is how the sentence and the question is created. You're using something which is already negative, which is well, I assumed it was a minority, but it's less Christians than we thought at the beginning. It's not the majority of Christians. It's okay, of the population. But when we say fundamentalism, okay, if fundamentalism do not agree with me, then therefore I think I'm on the right side. I'm safe. And that's another idea to show the problem in the problematization. You propose to empathize or to recognize the reasons of a party that normally is taken as extreme or not reasonable. So if you remove the word fundamentalism from there, then we go back to what we discussed until now. Now, with the word fundamentalism, you're proposing an idea which is held by people which normally we don't agree with, because we know that they are extreme, they are bad, and they drive to fights and problems, and we basically think that they are criminals. That's the shared thought. So that is an additional problem with the question. Okay, let's see. There was Davide. Davide, you want to say something, or are you good?
Actually, I wanted to propose the idea that even if the whole world was a fundamentalist Christian, this problematization question wouldn't work still, because it's about what is possible, if it is possible to problematize, and not about being willing to problematize.
Okay, well, this I don't know, but
I mean, that can is a little bit ambiguous. If we conceive it like in logical terms, is it possible to problematize? Then I think I would be right saying what I just said. If we take it as a moral, in a moral dimension, then
okay.
but
Well, I
assuming
understand,
Peter
but
is-
you're going too far for me. I don't know. I don't know. I get lost. I don't know what to think if the whole world would be fundamental Christian.
yeah, still, I mean, you could, even if you
And you
believe
say that
in
no, so we would have we are speculating a little bit too much. Yeah. Okay. Well, I propose to drop it. Let's see something else. Okay, Anka, what do you want to do? You want to stay on this issue or you want to go ahead?
Something else, like continue. I thought we were done with this.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Yes.
So I was we have a statement by Sven. We will never understand everything. Let's write them down. And then there's a question by Martin. What does everything mean in your sentence? I think that this is a clarification question. It is not a problematization question.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. Martin. Yeah.
I agree. And at the same time, I state that this serves the purpose.
Okay, so you agree it's a clarification question, but by clarifying, you also raise a problem.
Yes.
Okay, how come that if Sven or the author clarifies everything, it also problematizes? Okay, yeah, let's see. Tell us, Martin.
Well, you can never describe everything. It's not possible. You would start with particular examples. You would say, so, and like that, he would start relativizing himself by doing that. It's a total term that you can never fully describe.
Uh-huh. Okay, so let's imagine everything. What would the author answer? So he would start with a list of things. This is what you propose.
Most probably he would say like the whole world or something.
Okay, so the whole world would be an answer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and if the author answers the whole world, then what's the problem for the author? Does it pose a problem?
I think I have now made it difficult for myself because the whole world is just another way of saying everything. So I would have to continue. I would have to continue picking. What do you mean by the whole world?
Yeah.
So it's like, it would like postpone the issue a little bit longer.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, therefore we should draw a conclusion out of this.
Well, it's a weak problematization, probably.
Yeah, at the best, it's a weak problematization. Yeah, because then if you answer the whole world or the universe, then I maintain I'm not shaken in my belief that we will never understand the universe.
Yeah.
Or the whole world.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But Sven, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, it sounds more like it would support the statement, because I won't be able to explain what everything is. And so I'll be showing that we can't understand everything. Supports the
Okay,
thesis.
so with the difficulty in explaining the everything, then you would support the idea that it's not possible to understand it because we are not even able to say it, to speak it. Okay, yeah. So Martin, bad news, not even weak. Not problematizing, you are supporting the cause. Okay, yeah. Okay, fine. Problems on this, what we've done so far? No? Good. So what? Anka, good. You hit the target. So, someone else? We go for another one. Marianne? Yes?
Yes, I go with Louis' statement. Be creative, it makes it much more fun.
Repeat the statement. Whose statement?
Be creative, it makes life much more fun.
Okay, yeah.
And I want to problematize the question of anchor. Can you see a problem in your question? Because it is not connected to who is statement.
Okay.
But force to do a problematization on the interlocutor, but yes, in this exercise it is too general. Doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Because Anka, what's going on here?
Yeah. What was the strategy there? Well, it's I find that it's a challenging question because
there is no question.
Can you see a problem in your question? This is what we're criticizing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're planting the idea in a person's head. You're literally telling the person, hey, there is a problem in your question. So you are inducing doubt.
Okay, but we have another problem that comes before.
Okay.
When I make a statement and you're telling me about my question, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
So that is my first problem. What question are you talking about? Because there is no question there.
So you mean I should have said, can you see a problem in your question? In your question, in your answer, in your statement, I meant. Yeah, sorry, yeah. Can you see a problem in your statement? Yes, there is a problem because I wrote question.
Yeah, so it was just a typo. You wanted to write statement.
Yeah, I didn't even see it. Yes. Can you see a problem in your statement? Yes.
Okay, good. Now we understand. Marianne, now, was your criticism about this, or is it a different one?
It's a different one.
Okay, so now we take, but Anka, we take the good one. So let's go for Anka 2. And here is in your statement. Marianne, is it this that you want to criticize?
Yes, it's still too general. It is disconnected from the content that GUI gives us.
Yeah, so what's the problem here? Tell us the problem. Yeah, so it's repeat.
Disconnected from the content. You can take this question and put it onto everything of what we written, onto every statement.
Yeah. So you're saying it's undifferentiated.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so but let's clarify. There is a connection because Anka is talking about the statement. So it's connected to it, not a particular word, not a specific word, specific idea, but with the whole statement. So she's talking about it, and she's inviting the author to see a problem in it. Okay, now, well, we were talking about it at the beginning. You remember, Marianne?
Yes, that this can be a good strategy in the consultation, because then the subject will be asked to problematize on himself or herself. But in this exercise,
okay, in the exercise should be us doing the exercise, doing the work. Okay, so here Anka is not doing the tough part of the job. So to problematize, she's reversing the weight, the load into the interlocutor onto the interlocutor. But then okay. So the question is does not problematize. Okay, so Anka, you agree that you are cheating us here?
Yes, I agree. I am. Yeah, it's a fishing question. It's a problematizing, but a fishing question. Yes.
Yeah. So problematize if you have the other person in front of you and you can oblige him. But then the idea. Well, now let me clarify also why we are doing this exercise, because sometimes the interlocutor, the subject, is not able to problematize. Is not able to see the limits. Therefore, we have to propose and to problematize the statement, the position of our interlocutor. And this exercise is meant for us to develop that ability to take any statement and to create problems, to be agile in seeing the conditions, the limits of it.
To be more suggestive. So I should have, proposed something more concrete, not just turn the tables on the interlocutor. Yes.
Yeah. You should propose a problem that is that you see there, not asking the other person to see a problem. You should see it and propose it. That is the job that we are doing.
Although it's very good, but it's not applied to this exercise, but it works.
No, well, in general, it works, yes. It works, it's easier than to problematize. It's easier if the other one does it. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay, so this one. Now, Maria, what do you want to do? You want to work on this one or it's a different one?
On this one, because I think this question not probably problematized, because we have a task to give absolute statement, and if we ask can you see a problem in your statement, the probable answer will be no. Because exactly. It's absolute.
Yeah. So if I give an absolute statement and you think you're right, yes, I answer yes, I think I'm right. That's easy like that. No, when I say something, unless you show me a problem in general, when I say something, yes, I think I believe it, I commit, I think I'm right. Yeah. Okay. And so therefore, probably the author would answer yes. No, would answer no to this question. Okay, let's take another one. Or let's do like this, because I need 1 minute to go there. So check things, and I will be back in 1 minute. Look for problems. Okay, here we go. Who hasn't spoken much this evening? Let's see. I want to hear Alex. Have you got something? Yeah, okay.
I have the Francis statement. If I cannot breathe for 5 hours, oh no, sorry, I need to look for a problem, of course.
If that is the statement, we can.
Yes. The one from, sorry, I was wrong. The one from Martin. There are pink elephants.
Nice one. Yeah.
And Anka says, can we say that there are no elephants at all?
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I wrote there that this was a false problematization, but I do not know anymore why. So, wait.
Okay, so it's a gut feeling that there is something that doesn't work there, but you cannot say what.
Well, wait, give me a minute. Let me copy paste. Huh?
You copy paste what? The whole thing? Yeah. Okay.
No, no, not the whole thing. All right.
What are you using? Are you using some program, software?
Obsidian. I'm using Obsidian. I'm quite a big fan of it.
And to do what?
To make notes.
Okay. But now you don't have to make notes now. You have to tell us what's the problem there. Why is it a false problematization?
I will.
Nice name to call it, but tell us why.
Because it does not. Can we say that there are no elephants at all? The obvious answer is no.
Okay, the obvious answer is no.
So it doesn't make Martin think about the fact that there might be pink elephants. That's the idea.
Yeah, okay. So there are elephants, yes, because there are elephants. But then, yeah, okay, we are not talking about elephants in general. We're talking about specific elephants, the pink ones. Okay, so the question doesn't deal with the problem.
Yes, I don't see how it problematized to answer the question if you can say that there are no elephants at all.
Okay, but then
of course I must say why.
Okay, let's go to Anka. Anka, are you cheating on us again?
No, actually, I wanted to bring my own problem into discussion because I want to discuss this. So,
Wait,
yes.
so if you're using this problematization question to discuss another problem,
No, my problem. I wanted to bring, I wanted to discuss this.
You want to discuss what?
Interesting. This my question, because
Okay,
I
do you think
wrote
it problematizes or not?
I think it problematizes, and I can say how, and I would like to discuss this with the group. Because I think
I tell you what,
I think it problematizes.
Sounds like you don't have a case, but you want to play with us. Okay.
Okay, let me explain. Can I explain?
No, I don't want explanations.
Okay, can I show how I think I problematize?
No, let's see like this. If okay, okay, I want to give you this chance to explain. Go ahead, explain.
So I think that my strategies here is to be absurd. So I think this would go into the performative. So what do you do with the person who comes and says there are no pink elephants? You know, the real problem is not the pink elephants. The person has another problem. So
what's the problem? Martin here, I don't know what to do. What's the real problem of mine.
The real problem aren't the pink elephants, you know. I think it's an existential problem.
Okay, which
don't have-
one? A person that states that there are no pink elephant, what kind of existential problem might have?
I think when this is intuitive, I think I will find out when he answers, because I said there are no pink elephants, and I say, can we say there are no elephants at all? And what will the answer? Why will the person answer me? Like, what? Probably would a person answer, why do you ask me? What's this? Why do you answer me? Why do you ask me this?
Okay, yeah. But
So I'm creating a problem in the person.
yeah, well, maybe you are creating a problem in his life, but not with the statement.
Okay.
No, let's go. Let's take it seriously. I agree with you that Martin might have existential problem. Okay, yes, it's visible. Look at Martin, but no, that's not our job now. Let's take the. So can we say that there are no elephants at all? What the person would answer? Anka.
Oh, they would say no. No, we cannot say because I saw elephants with my own eyes.
Okay, so there are elephants. So we cannot say that
Yes.
there are no elephants. Okay, there are no elephants. There are elephants, sorry.
There are elephants, yes.
Okay. Then, if there are elephants, and I agree with you that there are elephants, is there a problem for my belief that I think that there are no pink elephants?
No, there's no problem.
Okay, the fact that there are elephants does not create a problem for the fact that there are no certain types of elephants. Okay, so that is all. Then, so therefore, the question does not problematize.
Yes.
Then maybe you, what we said before, maybe you know something, you have an intuition, you know the context, something that in that specific case make the question work as a problematization. But in general, no. Here, probably the answer is that no, we cannot say that. Therefore, there are elephants. Elephants exist, but that's not a problem for the idea that the pink elephants do not exist.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, good. So
can we say that it's a false then problematization, like Alex said, or it's just like it's not a problematization question in the absolute?
I think it's about false. It's more than it doesn't deal with the problem. You don't, because the problem is not elephant in general, it's the pink elephant. So you're not touching that problem.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. All good with this? Anyone else? Okay. Now, no, I don't want to take another one because we are 10 minutes to 9. But I would like to take some reflections, questions, doubts, comments, criticism about the workshop, about problematization in general. So it's your turn about the process more than about the content. Yeah, Alex?
Well, it's more about the specific moment. This idea of this problem of the context, it keeps coming back like week after week, right?
Yes.
And I think it's quite interesting. But I think I don't know how to handle it, because I believe you cannot read a sentence without a context. So my question always is, how much context do you take into consideration?
Yeah. So you in a way, it's true that we tend to think about the context, and it keeps coming and going. But on the other hand, well, I see also a specific problem of yours, Alex, that you are kind of context addicted. Because there is always something related to the context that creates a problem for you specifically, more than for the rest of the people. So, no, in a way, I think that you should take a detox therapy from context. So try to find some pills that helps you to detox from context if you find them. But then in general, yeah, okay. Yeah, we tend to go back to context because we want something to hang on. We want a base, we want a ground, and the context provides the ground. But then this ground is slippery because we can replace a ground with another one, with another one, with another one. Then it ends in a way that we don't know. We are not able to use common sense anymore if we start to look for the ground. If we want the common sense, we should go for the common sense. And the common sense should be general, should not be in one country. There are customs, yes, there are customs, one country or geographically based, and that we can use as well in a consultation, in a workshop. But if we want to take to see what works in general, we should stay away from the context. We should work with the common sense in general. So killing in general, in the common sense, it's a bad thing. It's prohibited in most of the cultures. Then there was a time in which killing was allowed. There was a time, there are cultures in which killing people is fine. But yeah, that's not the general, that's not the common sense. Common sense is that in general, we see it as something that should not be done, something that should not happen, that should be prohibited. We are now, the shared value is more toward the respecting the life. That is the idea. Then some cultures, yeah, we know that. But still, even in those cultures, we can trigger the common sense. We can ask them, well, you know that there are other cultures in which killing is not allowed. So even if we have a habit, well, we can know that it's different in the common sense. Well, what do you think the common sense? Should adult people live by themselves or with their parents?
Your last sentences were lost due to connection.
Okay, well, I'm thinking about the context now that is sensitive for Italians. In adult person, well, should live by himself or with their parents. So normally, adult person should live by himself. In Italy, it's not the case because we say it's common, it's known, it's a prejudice, it's a stereotype. It's not a prejudice, it's a stereotype, and it's grounded. That there are people, adults, that keep living with their parents. But still, even if we do in this culture, we do live with our parents, even in adult age, well, common sense, we are able to realize that in other countries, normally, when you are, well, the university age, you start living by yourself and you don't go back to your parents' house for living. That's more or less what you do, but okay. That was an example that, yes, there are cultural biases. Common sense, still it's common sense. So what is most common for Italians? To live with their parents? Then I don't know if it's true that is most common, but there are a lot of them. Okay, it's more acceptable. Okay, Francis, you wanted to say something. Are you living with your parents?
I think no, my parents are dead. I killed them.
You killed them. Okay, yeah.
But I think we cannot get rid of the context because some shared context with whom we are interacting helps us define the words. If you say a store, you can mean a supermarket, but if you go to Africa, it's normal to live with your parents and your grandparents and your children because it's the only way people can live. So you should pay attention, I think, to a minimum of common context. Otherwise, you cannot give understandable examples.
Yeah.
So you can ensure, and then you follow logical reasoning, and but when we say common sense, we have to pay attention if we have reasonably equal definition of the words we use.
Yeah, okay, yes, we can. Then there is another risk that we fall in defining the words in over definition. But yeah, I agree. There is there is a common understanding of the words, and if this understanding is different, then there are misunderstandings. Yeah. Okay. Anka?
I have a question. So we're told at IPP that we don't do interview with people in consultation. Is this linked with the idea of of context? So we stay in the common sense, like we don't go into deep into the person's details, whatever. Is this like a sort of an armor protection that we stay in the abstract, in the common sense, and we don't go into the particular?
No, I don't think this is the main reason why. Well, maybe I see the connection now, that the idea that we want to stay general and avoid details can be a tool to protect ourselves or to stay away from the context, but it's not the context that we want to stay away from when we say don't make interview question. It's more about to find the inner structure of a person. And if we make interviews, questions are not connected, there is no reasoning, an underground search for characters, for traits of the thinking of the person. We get lost in details, in trivial, in pettiness. So we don't want a lot of details. We want to find something relevant in the thinking of the person, in the structure, not in the context. We want the frame, and it's not about details. It's not about many questions, many details, the narration, the story of a person. We want to lead it and to find a causality, some tendency of the person. And with the interview, we know details. Sometimes are interesting, and then we ask, in fact, we do ask for examples, for concrete examples sometimes when a person is too abstract. But on the other hand, if we have enough details, and enough are few details, are not a lot. The enough doesn't mean that we have to have a lot of details, because normally interview are a lot of details, and the interview will let the person speak, but we should put order in it. With interview style, we lack an order, and we let the other person to lead the consultation, the dialogue. No, we want to lead the dialogue, and we don't want a lot of information. We want the right information, the right amount that answers our question. I don't know if I answered yeah.
No, you answered. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Take one more, the last one. Who wants to be the last lucky one? Good.
Yeah, I was happy with the workshop, and for me, because I am a teacher as well, this kind of structure is so important, because I sometimes lose myself in a lot of ideas because I let people talk too much. And so I see that you are creating space for certain ideas, even by having silence in a moment where we can just think about what one person said. Just having this space is so good, I think, that we can really digest the idea and be respectful of just what was the idea that came there, but still maintaining this order and limit. So you cannot just take anything, you know. There are qualifications for what people can offer. They cannot just say, oh, I want to describe this and that. No. So yeah, I was interesting for me to observe as well.
But you refer to the workshop, to the process, or to the
Yeah,
last...
the workshop, the process, like the way you work.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Then I think that goodbye. See you next time. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Ciao.
Bye bye.
Hi, guys.
Thank you.